questions, and we have some microphones, so we'll do that. We'll let everybody get settled, and then we'll ask her to make an open comment.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. I know that you have other work to do here shortly, and I appreciate your patience. A few of you have reached out to try to talk with me over the last couple of days, and I hope you can understand we've had a lot of things we've had to attend to in the transition for the last 48 hours. But knowing we were all going to be here this evening, I thought it might be a good opportunity to chat. We had a chance as a department yesterday morning to have a full department staff meeting and to talk about moving forward and the charge that Chancellor Steinmetz has given to me as interim athletic director. I think if you talk with any of our staff, you'll find that they all are committed to continuing to serve our student athletes, our coaches, our university, and our passionate supporters across the state. I particularly am honored to have the opportunity to serve the University of Arkansas in this way, and I look forward to the challenges that are ahead. I think many of you will have questions tonight that you'd like to have answered. We may not have time to get to all of them. Some of them I will not be able to answer based on the nature of them and the things that we have coming up in the coming weeks. But I think we'll have opportunities to talk about those items later. The most important thing tonight was to have a chance to get to talk with you and get in front of you. And like I said, we appreciate your patience in moving forward to this moment.
Hi, Julie. In this interim role, have you been given full authority on personnel matters?
Hi, Jason. What I've been asked to do by Chancellor Steinmetz is to keep all positive momentum going on all the things we have in progress at the athletic department. I've been asked to fully engage in the role of athletic director for whatever time he needs me to serve in that, and I will do that.
You've been serving as the sport administrator. What's your take overall on where the football program is in that capacity and then in your next capacity?
I appreciate the question. I don't think anyone would disagree it's been a tough season for us. What I am encouraged by is the opportunity to spend time around this team and around this coaching staff, and had the time to be out at practice even yet this week, and I can tell you we have 120 guys on the roster, and we have a building full of coaches and staff members who are working hard. They're focused on Saturday. They're focused on winning the game, and I think that's actually indicative of where they've been throughout the season. So I have had an opportunity to work with them, and many of the same things will continue in the same capacity.
Hey, Julie.
Hi, Kurt.
You know, one of the things Jeff said earlier this football season was that he expected to have the Little Rock future stadium situation solved by the end of the season. Are you in a position are you going to work as a placeholder or actually actively work to solve that, do you think, still by the end of the season? And then also with Chancellor Steinmetz, have you talked to him about the future of the football program?
Chancellor Steinmetz and I have had a conversation again about moving forward with all things in the department as it relates particularly to War Memorial. He and I will continue to evaluate our long-term relationship with War Memorial. I do know that we intend to play an SEC game there next season as we are contracted to do, and I think we're working toward determination of that game. And, you know, if I could just say, I find the time we spend down in Little Rock to encapsulate some of the best things about this state and the best things about the history of this state. I've been able to go to each of the games in Little Rock during my tenure here, and every time I meet more people who have stories about their memories and their time there, whether it's as someone growing up in Little Rock or someone who, you know, is able to get to the Little Rock game because of the part of the state in which they reside. So I think it's an important part of our history. It's a special part of who we are as Razorbacks, and the Chancellor and I will work together on a long-term recommendation for that partnership. Hi, Bob.
Hey, you're one of 11 women who are athletic directors at the 128 big schools, and you're one of only 5 in Power 5. How significant is this to you? And do you have an interest in getting the job on a long-term basis? You know,
it is significant to me because of the position and the student athletes, the coaches, the university, and the state we represent. It's a significant role to be the athletic director at the University of Arkansas. So the significance for me is held in the role and the importance of that role, not only for our student athletes, but beyond. So it is significant. The Chancellor and I have not had discussions about a long-term service in this role at this time. I've simply said to him that I'm committed to filling this role during the time he needs me, and he will set that timeline.
Julie, you mentioned playing an SEC game in Little Rock next season. What is the holdup choosing an SEC opponent? Is it that you're waiting to see what the long-term commitment might be there, or could it be that maybe you're having trouble finding someone to mutually agree to a game there or something else?
I don't think that any of those items that you've identified have held us up necessarily. I think that some of the conversation has been wrapped up in the overall discussion about War Memorial, and I hope that we're able to make a decision on that fairly quickly.
Julie, this time next week could be a very important decision to be made about the future of the football program. Has the Chancellor given you the authority to make that decision if things go the way that it has been going this year?
Again, the Chancellor and I have talked about keeping forward momentum in all areas of the athletic department and with all parts of the department. So, to me, that's the same question all over again. We're moving forward. We're not skipping a beat. We're continuing to do the things that we need to do within this department.
Julie, what have been your conversations with Coach Bielema since you've taken on this role?
Well, Brett's been very supportive. Some of you may have noted we were together last night at the Catfish Hole for his radio show there, and he was one of the first calls I made as things were breaking on Wednesday, just to let him know. And I've known Brett for a while now, and so our conversation has just been, hey, let's work together. And let's go out and be ready to play on Saturday, and let's do what we can do in the best interest of this department during the interim time.
Did it come as a surprise within the department that Jeff was let go this week? Have you been able to have any conversations with him? And if so, can you say what those have been like?
I don't know that it's fair for me to characterize how my coworkers, felt about or whether or not they were surprised about it. I will tell you that Jeff was very well respected in our department. And for those particularly who have been here and were hired by him, but also for those who were here before him, they've been able to enjoy a lot of growth in the department. There are a lot of positive changes in the department, and I will tell you that there has been a very strong sense of upward, momentum and mobility, if you will, among SEC programs that is department-wide. So to the extent I would say that, our staff members have been working hard toward that. I'm sure there were some that were surprised, but ultimately when we met together on Thursday, I don't think a person walked out of that room without a commitment to continuing to serve our student athletes, our coaches, and our state. I have been in touch with Jeff. He's been very supportive and offered his well wishes, and I appreciate the opportunity he gave me here. I had an opportunity to learn some things with him and hopefully contribute, to his administration, and so I appreciate the opportunity I've been given, even before the last couple of days, to work here on behalf of the state and on behalf of our student athletes.
Julie, for Razorback fans that don't know much about you, what would be something you'd like to share with them about you?
There's so many things, and so hopefully we'll have a little bit more time later. I think the most important thing is that while I've been here in Fayetteville, 3.5 years, which is relatively short time, I understand for those who know and love this state, I have just been overwhelmed and so proud to step into and be part of the Razorback Nation. It is one of the reasons why I wanted to come here, quite candidly. There is no place like the University of Arkansas. There's no place like this department in this state. And the passion that makes it so special is exactly the thing that propels us. And so, I've been in some different places in my career, as you know, David. I've worked some different places, and they have passionate fans as well. I had great experiences there, but this is a special and unique place. My father's family is from southern Missouri, and they're scattered across southern Missouri and northern Arkansas. And so at a very young age, actually, I learned to call the hogs. And the opportunity to come back and be part of that as an adult was irresistible.
Julie, can you talk about how and when you found out about your new role, and when you found out about it, what was your reaction, where were you, and so forth?
Well, I will say this. I don't think there's any time or place or length of notice that, makes these kinds of transitions any less challenging. So I don't want to get into all the details and particulars of the decisions and how things rolled out, but I will tell you, I think initially I was taken aback a little bit, but very quickly then when I was presented with the opportunity, I gladly accepted it. So what's I think more interesting is where are we now? Over the last 48 hours, I've had several people reach out to be very supportive. Several people I have yet to meet. A few people that I've met in the last 2 days, and the warmth and the support from people who really have cared and given so much to not only this university but this program over the years is greatly appreciated. And I'm here to serve.
Do you get the sense that any personnel decision you would have to make possibly would be an autonomous one? Would it involve you and Chancellor Steinmetz? Would it even involve the board? I guess what I'm trying to get a read on is what is the scope? Yeah,
I appreciate that question, Kurt. I think that that question applies at any time of year to any athletic director. So and I get that. I do get that. The chain of command is the chain of command, right? So the athletic director makes important decisions in consultation with the chancellor. The chancellor reports actually to a president, who then reports to the board. And I think all of us would like all of those bodies to be aligned, regardless of who specifically is making these specific decisions along the chain. That being said, I do understand the question, and there are a lot of people who are weighing in about the decisions that they believe are pending. Right now, we have a football coach and we have a game tomorrow, and we're looking forward to playing it.
Julie, is it your intention to interview for the full-time job? Is that what you'd like to do? And then what is on your immediate agenda? I mean, now we've talked about War Memorial, but what other things are coming at you right now?
Yeah, so as I said, we've not talked specifically about me as a candidate. I've not even really given that a lot of thought, to be honest with you. What I'm focused on is this interim appointment and serving for whatever length of time that may be. And candidly, there's an old phrase in volleyball that's called bettering the ball. That is, ball comes to you, you pass, dig, set the spike, and you give a better ball for the next person to hit. So no matter who that person is, I'd like to better the ball for the next athletic director. And then, I'm sorry, what was the second part of your question? What's coming at you? Oh, what's coming at? Yes, of course. So, the first thing I think immediately is, to step into the next several weeks with a lot of activities that are planned, and then part of that, quite candidly, is to continue to demonstrate to our staff and our supporters that we are full speed ahead. There are a lot of things that have been alluded to even yet in this press conference that down the road may or may not come, but I think the important thing is that we're focused on staying the course and building the positive momentum we have.
Thank you all very much.
Appreciate you guys coming out, and I look forward to talking with you more.